In a move that should infuriate all of you, Nebraska legislators bucked Trump by blocking electoral college vote change. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. Today, it is time to talk about the disaster that is known as the Nebraska Republican Party, because everyone, a party in a deep red state, not Wisconsin, not Michigan, not a swing state like that, no, a deep red state, wasn't able to change their electoral college system to help Trump. They're that useless that they have a supermajority now, and they can't even use it to help benefit their own party. You cannot make this up. I mean, the fact that the governor, Trump, most people in the grassroots have been begging for this change, and the Nebraska legislature decided, nah, we don't want to make this change to help Trump. It is absolutely spineless what these cowards just did. Now, before I continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, I want to give some added context to explain why this is a big deal, alright? So for those that don't know, Nebraska is one of the only states in America to split their electoral votes by congressional district. Outside of Maine, no other states do this, and how it works is, okay, if Trump wins Nebraska's second, he wins that electoral vote. If he wins Nebraska's first, he gets that electoral vote, etc. And on paper, this doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like, okay, who cares? I mean, yeah, Nebraska's second could be competitive, but even if Biden does win it, who cares? Well, we'll explain why this is a big deal in a minute, but let's just get into it. Nebraska legislators on Wednesday blocked a late effort to change how the state allocates electoral college votes, despite public pressure from former President Donald Trump to shift to a winner-take-all system that would likely benefit him in the fall. Likely, it would. Because no matter what happens, even if Trump loses Nebraska's second by 15, he would get all 5 of the districts in Nebraska. The measure fell short, 8-36 in a procedural vote. While it's possible supporters could take another stab at advancing the proposal, there remain serious hurdles as the legislative session draws to a close, and it's unclear whether the proposal has enough support to get across the finish line and become law. And remember, the Nebraska legislature is now supermajority Republican. So they don't got to worry about the filibuster, they don't got to worry about anything crazy. But even then, it's like, you're telling me, not only did Trump say, make this law, but the governor of Nebraska, Jim Pillen, and the grassroots are saying the same thing. Despite that, nearly half, or more than half of the Republicans voted against this. You know, the biggest thing that infuriates me about this whole situation is if this was a Democrat state that had the same system and the ability to change the law, unlike Maine, you know, Maine, they have in the state constitution. It's a separate ordeal, but either way, if Democrats had the ability to change it, they would. If this was, say, Oregon, if this was, say, Colorado, the system would be gone tomorrow. And they could have a 1-seat majority, and they would pass it. But Republicans with a supermajority can't even come close to passing. I mean, just think about that. More Republicans voted against this than supported it, despite the fact it would benefit their own party. This is principled conservatism in a nutshell. Screw your own party in the name of morals. Give me a break. Democrats would never do this. If they can get even one extra electoral vote, they would do it. They would say, screw this system, we're taking the risk, and we're going to change the system. Nebraska currently doles out 3 of its 5 electoral votes to the presidential candidate who wins each of its 3 congressional districts. In practice, that puts the competitive 2nd district in the Omaha area in play, even though Republicans typically win the statewide vote easily. That's a big thing. I mean, the 2nd district should be Republican, mind you, but they botch redistricting, which is another ordeal. But either way, you're telling me you are in a deep red state. Not just, R+1, R+20. Nebraska is a super Republican state, and you give Democrats an extra electoral vote. This isn't like even Ohio, which is like R+8. This is R+15 to 20. Wednesday night's failed attempt to change the law to award all of the state's electoral college votes to the statewide winner leaves the fate of the proposal in doubt with few days left in the legislative session. State Senator Lauren Lippincott, who introduced the original winner-take-all bill, told the Nebraska Examiner that he make one final attempt to bring the measure up for a vote before the legislative session ends April 18th. However, it's unclear whether there's enough support for the change to move forward. I mean, it's baffling. I cannot believe that the Republicans would do this to themselves. I mean, you talk about gimmies. All Nebraska would do is become like the rest of the country and say, we're going to award our electoral votes by the winner of the state. And that's it, we're done. That's all they have to say. But they can't even do that properly. It should just make everyone infuriated. Because like I've said, if this was Democrats trying the same ordeal in Maine, if they had the chance to, it would pass tomorrow. They wouldn't have this crap of half the party votes against it. It's just insane. And hell, probably some Republicans would vote to do that also. That's the Republican Party. They would help Democrats more than themselves. Lippincott's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Republican State Senator Julie Slamma had offered the electoral bill's legislative text as an amendment to existing legislation, the quickest pathway to get a vote on the proposal. But the amendment was rejected after 36 lawmakers voted that it wasn't relevant enough to the underlying legislation to be considered as an amendment. Oh, so they used that excuse that, it wasn't relevant enough. So they technically weren't on record on voting on the actual legislation. They just said, well, this is just not relevant to the bill. The Republican Party, everyone. The only party that I could think of that would do this. To themselves, not just to Democrats, but to their own party. Now you may be wondering, okay, what's the big deal? Why are people like Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, and Jim Pillen making this push? And why are people suddenly saying, we gotta change the law? Well, some people did some math on the electoral map, and on paper, it's like, whoop-de-doo, it's one congressional district, so what? Well, let's just say Trump wins Georgia, let's say he wins Arizona, and he wins Nevada. Right, let's just say somehow this happens, but he doesn't win anything else, which is very unlikely, but let's say that happens. Notice something? Notice how Biden wins by one electoral vote. One. If Nebraska's second votes Republican, or let's just say it's a statewide system, it would be tied. It would go to the House, and how the House does it, it goes by state delegation. In a nutshell, Trump would win. More than likely, unless Republicans vote for Biden, more than likely Trump would be the president. I mean, think about that for a minute. They know there is a possibility that Trump could win Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, but Biden would still win because of Nebraska's second. That possibility exists. But these assholes in Nebraska are saying, nah, we gotta be principled. What are you talking about? You're in a safe Republican state. There's no reason not to support this. And people might say, well, Maine, they could just change their law. Apparently with Maine, they can't. It's not like Nebraska where they could actually change the law. So, what are you doing? I mean, every other state goes by statewide winner. What backlash are you talking about? Backlash from Democrats? Yeah. Because that's one electoral vote they can't win. But you notice these people would never support this same system in California or New York. Because, yeah, Republicans would only win a couple seats here and there, but that's still 5 or 6 electoral votes. They want this system in only safe red states. They don't want it in New York, California, Colorado, Illinois. They want it in safe Republican states because They want the possibility of just winning a couple of extra seats. You know, here and there, one seat here, one seat in, say, South Carolina. That's why they want this system only in red states. You notice they never passed it in deep blue states? Yeah, Maine's the outlier, but that was back in the 90s, and you get the point. Either way, this should infuriate everyone. This is your best opportunity to change the law. You have the governor saying, pass the damn law. Change it. I will sign it. You have Trump telling people, support the change. You have Charlie Kirk and the grassroots saying, change the law. By the way, a big shout out to Charlie Kirk for actually raising this issue, because no one was talking about it. And I kind of overlooked it too, but then I realized, hey, wait a minute. Trump could lose even if he wins Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Which, again, it's an unlikely scenario, but do you really want to risk it? Do you really want the possibility of, okay, Trump could win these 3 states but still lose? It's unlikely, but again, Democrats don't take that chance. If that scenario was even remotely possible, they would change the law. So why shouldn't Republicans? Why? I want a reason. Why vote against this bill when you're in a safe red state? Only people that care are Democrats. Who cares? It's an R+20 state. Tell Democrats, okay, pass the same law in California, pass the same law in Illinois, in New York, and then we'll keep ours. Tell them that. You can change the law if you want, but they refuse to. Either way, I am hoping that somehow this does pass, because there is a possibility that, well, we've still got 2 weeks until this does pass, but it's looking very unlikely, and it just, my goodness, I just cannot believe that the Nebraska Republican Party in a deep red state would just fail this miserably. However, we should absolutely keep up the pressure. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's okay, if it doesn't pass, it sucks, but it shows who the cowards are. But if it does pass, that's one free electoral vote. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.